Hello, Bournemouth fans, and welcome to episode 2 in the series of the AFC Bournemouth Best 11, the Eddie Howe years. And in episode 1, Artur Boruc took his place as the first name on the team sheet in goal, and it was confirmed by everyone who checked out the video. They were pretty happy with that choice. So now we're going to move on and start with the defence, and we're going to go to the right back, and that's what we'll be doing in episode 2. And I'll have some guests who's going to help me try and fill that space. But before we do that, we really appreciate your support. We really want to try and get this channel to 500 subscribers. We're at 450. Help us achieve that right there. So subscribe and also give this video a like, and you can also support the channel by buying us a coffee. The details are in the description of our YouTube channel. So let's get on with it. Let's get the guests. Let's do episode 2. And returning today, we have Dan, who's going to help us achieve the defence and start it off. How you doing, Dan?
I'm doing very good. Yeah, very good. How are you?
I'm absolutely fantastic. And we've also got Aaron for the first time in the series of this Best 11. How you doing, Aaron?
Excellent. Thanks, guys. Nice to see you all. Great new intro as well. Loving it. And yeah, ready for this battle of the right backs.
And that's what we're going to do. And the 4 contenders that we've whittled it down to is going to be Simon Francis, Stephen Purches, Jack Stacey, and Adam Smith. As we said on the previous episode, there are going to be a lot of names that miss out. And let's just confirm again how this works, just in case you're checking this in for the first time and you know you can check out episode 1 if you haven't seen it yet. So this is the rules. It is a position that we're going to fill each time, as long as a player has played under Eddie Howe or signed, as long as they've had one appearance, their whole career can come into play. We're going to debate selected players, create the best 11, building a 4-4-2 formation, chosen players per position based on loyalty, leadership, commitment, stats. And I'm going to be helped each time by our guests. Aaron, you're new to this. Happy with that?
Yeah, let's go. Let's rock and roll.
And Dan, you should be all clued up on this now. You should be an expert.
Exactly, I am.
So you know what we do then? I'm not going to decide what player you get. Let's go to the wheel decider, and we'll decide who the first player will be for, let's say, Aaron. And so,
is there going to be a funky music over the top in the edit here?
Every time. Yeah. And Aaron will get... Oh!
What?
Goal line technology, please. That is
VAR.
That is Jack Stacey. Jack Stacey, Aaron. I'll bring up some stats for him in a minute. Sort of the newest player in this debate bunch. And how you feel about that?
Yeah. So I love Jack Stacey. I think, he's clearly the future for us, we would hope, for a considerable amount of time. A lot of time for Jack. I think he was a bit unfortunate, when he signed. He was in and out of the team. At that time, there was obviously Frano, who will come on to, Adam Smith ahead of him. But a player for me who is excellent going forward, real modern day right back, and has certainly improved defensively as well. Got an unbelievable engine on him. And as I said, is a real asset going forward as well. So I've got a lot of time for Jack Stacey, and I think certainly for this season about to start, I would imagine he'll be the number 1 right back, and hopefully, as I said, for many years to come.
And great potential, like you said, and he scored on the opening day of last season. Are you looking, as his career goes on, for him to maybe add more goals to his game, because he does like to bomb on down that right?
Yeah, no, definitely. I think first and foremost, though, he just needs to improve a little bit defensively. Can be sometimes caught out, a bit naive at times. But that comes with experience as he'll gain. Certainly, he gained some great experience. He played some really, good games in the Premier League. So that will do him the world of good and show that he can compete at that top level. And as I said, in the Championship, he's probably one of the best right backs. I think, you know, as we'll come on to, I think we probably had two of the best right backs in the division last season, which was you know, wasn't obviously great for the two of them. But I think, you know, Jack Stacey for me will get in any championship team, and I'm really excited about his future for the football club. He can, as you said, he's flexible. He can potentially play on right midfield, or as someone have said, and that can certainly be used potentially depending on who remains at the club. But I think right wing back is probably his best position, and as I said, certainly adding goals and assists to his armoury will only help him.
And he ended up on the left as well in the last game against Brentford, but we don't want to go down that road. Right, that's Jack Stacey. Over to you then, Dan. So we'll bring the wheel decider back into play. We know who you really want, and that's going to be Stephen Purches.
Yeah, my knowledge of a 9-year-old Bournemouth fan. Oh, we're good.
Dan, your first pick is Adam Smith. A good servant, 2 spells at the club. Bring some stats up for him in a moment. But Adam Smith for you, Dan.
Big fan of Adam Smith. I think he's a AFC Bournemouth legend, personally. I think he's been with us for a significant amount of time. He does. I love his attitude on the field. He will wind up whoever he's marking. He will completely wind them up to the point where they kick him, get a yellow card. He loves winding people up, which I love. I think you need that in some players. And yeah, he's been a real servant for the club. What is he? 31 now?
I want to say 30.
30. So he's getting on a bit. Whether he'll sign a new contract or not, I'm not sure. But yeah, he's put in some top performances over the years. He's put in some not top performances, probably more recently. I think the age might be catching up to him a little bit. Obviously got Jack Stacey on his back, another young right back. As I said, there's the competition there. But yeah, he's put in some great performances over the years. And I don't know, I'd love to see him say, because he's got some real experience, and I think he represents a lot of what you want in this in a football team in general. You could what you can say about Adam Smith is every single game he'll work his socks off, which I'll always appreciate as a fan.
A lot of appearances there for Adam Smith as well, and like you said, up and down at times, but really cemented his place in the team at the back end of last season. 5 goals though for him in that second spell at the club, and I always remember the Everton one. I don't know if you were at the game, Aaron, Dan, but we were 2-0 down at the time. Time was fizzling out. I think there was 20 minutes left, and he scored that goal. Weldy, I think he celebrated to his granddad. I think had passed away recently. But I mean, either of you come in there. Do you remember that goal against Everton?
I feel like he only scores Weldies. He scored a couple good goals, isn't he? I felt like.
Yeah, I remember one. I was at West Brom away when he scored. It was kind of like crawled into the corner. He was running across the penalty area, and I remember went against Newcastle in a comeback game against them as well. So I'm surprised he only scored 5 goals, because I seem to remember 5 of them at least. So that's obviously all he scored. But yeah, he as Dan said, you know, he just gives 100%, and he does love winding up the opposition, which is great.
Right, back to the wheel decider. We have 2 players left, so it's going to be Stephen Purches or Simon Francis. Let's spin that wheel for Aaron. What are you hoping for, Aaron?
I'll take either.
Oh no, Dan. So, Aaron, you're going to get Simon Francis, a long-serving player, club captain as well. Must be happy with that.
Yeah, no, I mean, absolute legend. I mean, for me, he is the epitome of those Eddie Howe success years. Signed by Lee Bradbury, actually. So credit to Bradders, another right back, but who didn't quite make the cut. But yeah, I mean, Frano obviously, the majority of his career for us was at right back, building unbelievable partnership with Matt Ritchie. He obviously had height. He was excellent going forwards, brilliant on the ball, number of assists, and just giving absolutely everything. Leadership on the pitch, which we really did miss last season as well. Again, I think in the first, obviously in the championship years, in the first 3 years of the Premier League, he still had all that energy and was just a brilliant right back. I think the last year or 2 of the Premier League, his legs perhaps were not what they were. He obviously had that bad injury. And I think he then moved more into a centre-back role. And I think I always rated him at centre-back. I think, he read the game brilliantly. As I said, he was really good in the air anyway because of his height. And perhaps not the ability to bomb forward as he did in his earlier years. Centre-back was a natural position for him and one where he could show his amazing leadership. So Obviously, we're talking about right back here, which is I think what we'll remember him for more than anything else. But yeah, absolute legend at the club. Character-wise, impeccable. Just everything about him, consummate professional.
And Dan, quickly, we had a good captain that took us up to the Premier League in Tommy Elphick. But when he left the club, Simon Francis stood up and club captain. It was absolutely marvellous.
Yeah, I remember when we did go up, thinking, because it's obviously I feel like this is a thing with any club. I feel like because the journey we've been on with a lot of these players, it was like you want to improve the players, but it's like, oh, you've got that loyalty to them. So when Tommy Elphick went up, he probably wasn't good enough, but you just don't want to see him go because he is Tommy Elphick and he's done so much for the club. But obviously there's been a few like Steve Cook that have stayed longer. But yeah, Simon Francis, as Aaron said, absolute legend of the club. Had adapted to centre back really, really well, and put in a shift every single game. And yeah, despite not being the quickest player, he did well. Compared, he's going to mark. He's going to have a tough job every single game, marking whoever's going to be on the wing, and he did pretty well majority of the time. There are a few exceptions in the Premier League where you could really see the difference in some of these sort of pacey, strong wingers. But yeah, technically he was brilliant, I thought.
I think also it's there was I remember one game against Crystal Palace when he had Zaha in his back pocket, and he always seemed to do well against him. It's interesting actually. I did feel that his legs are probably potentially going, but in hindsight's a wonderful thing, as we all know. I think he could have done a really good job in the Championship for us last season, but that's history.
Right, that leaves one more man, and you were so looking forward to this, Dan. You were desperate to have it, and it's going to be Stephen Purches. We're going to make use of the will because it's a service that we're currently using.
Exactly, it'd be rude not to, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, incoming Stephen Purches, and I think we're going to have to help you out here a bit, Dan, because how old do you reckon you would have been when Stephen Purches? I think it was 2000 to 2007.
Is that so? I would have been 6 I was born in 2001, so 6 in 2007. So knowledge is very minimal.
Clearly a club legend, though. More seeing him as a coach for the club. I mean, what's your thoughts on Stephen Purches, the way he carries himself, the way he supported Jonathan Woodgate and Jason Tyndall last season?
Yeah, I mean, he's been around the club for a long time. I know that much, and obviously, it was trusted when Eddie left to be the assistant manager alongside Jason Tyndall. That's pretty much where my limit of knowledge is. So, help me out here, Aaron.
So, Aaron, 2 spells at the club. I think there was Leyton Orient mixed in between that as well, but I think you would have watched him quite a lot.
Yeah, I've got a lot of love for Stephen Purches. And as you said, the criteria is if he played one game under Eddie Howe, this still counts. So for me, he's right up there because I actually watched his first ever game for Bournemouth, and it wasn't in the first team. It was when it was in a Youth Cup final. And then we signed him, actually. He was on trial, and we signed him after that. And I remember thinking how good he was. And back in those League One days in 2000, 2007, he was just a stalwart. He actually did play a number of positions. Right back was obviously his main position. He did often find himself on the left, which a lot of our right backs seem to do over the history. And I don't think we'll ever forget when he actually became a midfielder when he scored at Millennium Stadium with that incredible goal in the playoff final, where he actually adapted to centre midfield. So he really was a versatile player, but just solid at right back. And again, just back in those days, and him on the right, Warren Cummings on the left, and he was just so dependable, but a real legend. In his second spell, obviously, he had a really bad injury, so he really didn't play that much under Eddie. But I think Eddie trusted him with his life, and I'm sure he'll probably follow Eddie to wherever Eddie goes next.
Right, there it is then. They're the 4 players that we're going to be sort of deciding who's going to take the right back spot. Before we go into that then, and I'll give you a few minutes to think about it. I mean, any mentions for any right backs that didn't make the cut? I mean, Nathaniel Klein comes to mind, maybe. Dan, anyone?
I don't know about Nathaniel Klein. Not sure about that one. I'm trying to think. It's been. This is the thing. I'm sure this will be a thing in this series, is that because obviously I remember. So from sort of when I sort of had a understanding of like what the players were. Like the first player I remember was Liam Feeney, and then I just knew that he played for the club. Anything beyond that is I just don't have any. I just don't remember any of it. So with some of these older players, like I just like remember up to down to like even the start of some of these legends. I can't even remember them starting, but yeah, I'm sure that you guys will help me out with that. But yeah, I can't throw some names because I can't think of any at the top of my head.
I'm wondering, Aaron, if Subes actually got an appearance.
Do you remember him?
He was under Eddie Howe, but he always constantly got loaned out.
Yeah, no, I was thinking because obviously we're talking about managers signed by Eddie. Then obviously the ones we've gone through obviously have covered the most of that. The only other one who I mentioned earlier was Lee Bradbury, who obviously was signed for the striker, but then actually played end of his career at right back and did a really, really good job when needs must. We were decimated by injuries. And I think that would have been under Eddie's first spell that Lee played at right back, and he did a really, really good job. But other than him, I'm really struggling to think of anyone who played a consistent run of games.
That's where we need you, AFC Bournemouth fans, in the comments. Any players that we've missed that made one appearance for Eddie Howe that could have been a contender. But there we have it. You've now got your 1 minute chance to have a think about who you want to pick for that right back position. We're going to do it in just a moment. Okay, Dan, I came to you last time, so I'm going to give you the chance to go first this time. So out of the floor players, who are you thinking about? And tell us sort of how you got to that decision.
So I don't think anything needs more to be said. Stephen Purches for my incredible insight on him and knowledge. It's I'm torn between two, which is Adam Smith and Simon Francis. It's really, really tight between those two because I really, really like Smith, and I just love him on the pitch. He's just a wind-up merchant, but you have Simon Francis, the real professional. No surprise, he's now gone into sort of punditry, and it's really hard. I think I'd have to give it to Simon Francis. I think just as a legend, obviously was captain at one point, and as he's put in some shifts over the years. It's very, very tight between the two. But yeah, and he was able. I know it's obviously right back, but he's adapted to centre back as well. I'm going to go Simon Francis.
So one for Simon Francis, probably going to come a bit soon for Jack Stacey then, Aaron, I assume. But then really, Stephen Purches might be in for a shout. Who are you going for?
I'm going to discount Jack Stacey because, as I said, he's the future. I love Perch. I'm not going to go for Perch. He did give me a lot of great memories. But I'm going to, although the rules state that the whole career counts, I'm going to go for a player who played dominantly under Eddie. And as Dan said, it's very difficult. I mean, I'm in two minds because my first option was going to be Simon Francis for everything he's done for the football club, legend as he is. But, you can't discount Adam Smith. 7 years and counting, hopefully a bit longer, but 7 years is also legend status. He actually came into his own more in the Premier League. Funny enough, he couldn't even get in that Championship team. I'm going to do a Simon Cowell here and take it to deadlock because, it'll be easy for me to say Simon Francis, but and in all honesty, I probably would just put Frano ahead of him. But in all honesty, it's so tight, as Dan said, and I think that Adam Smith deserves a point on the board here for what he's done to this football club. So I'm going to say Adam Smith and lose no sleep over it and let you decide, Kirk, because I think Adam Smith definitely deserves not to have a clean sweep against him.
I knew this was going to happen. And every time I said this on the first episode, Dan, didn't I? Every time I put myself last, I get put on the spot like this.
Well, you could go to Purches and ruin the whole system.
Well, I think we'd have to go back to the wheel, wouldn't we, if we did that? So I am going to discount Jack Stacey again. I think it's come too soon for him. Purchase a great legend, but it does sit between Simon Francis and Adam Smith. Adam Smith, I think, at times has shown a side that can be frustrating. Although we could probably say that Simon Francis has also at times frustrated us in the stands when he got sent off against Wolves and made silly mistakes. But I just can't see past nipping it. Is Simon Francis for me. I think it's got to go to Frano. But I do agree with you, Aaron. I think that Adam Smith is definitely in with a shout, and there's not much between it. But there we go. On me. Blame me if you're not happy with the decision. But Simon Francis is going to take his place at right back in this best AFC Bournemouth 11. Are you happy with that, guys? I haven't upset anyone, have I?
No, I don't think too many people will be upset with that.
No, I mean, as I said, I'm delighted with Frano. I just think Adam deserved a score on the board.
Yeah.
But I can't disagree with Frano being at right back now.
There we go then. As I said, let us know your thoughts in the comments if you're happy with that right back position with Simon Francis, or if you wanted someone else in there. We'd love to hear what you think. Aaron, it's been great to have you on this for the first time in this episode, and we'll have you on many more.
Looking forward to it.
And as always, Dan, great to have you back as well.
Cheers for having me on.
And thank you to you, the fans, checking out this video. Please make sure you give us a like. So that's episode 2 down. Artur Boruc in goal, Simon Francis at right back. In the next episode, we'll sort out the first centre-back. From me, Aaron and Dan, until the next video, we'll see you soon. Up the cherries.